Which are the other social media campaigns in terms of creatively done well that comes to your
I
mind?
think my most favorite is Sunny Leone's no smoking campaign.
So I want to talk about mainly to begin with about why are we even doing this podcast, which is another add-on to the ocean of podcasts on YouTube. Why did we decide to do this? When I had looked into internet and did my research when we were starting this company and all of that, we couldn't find there was a clear-cut content piece or where we can learn the technicalities and the breakdown of the structure and the writing of advertising, marketing, branding overall. So we thought this would be a good kind of a content piece to put it out there in order to collate and share our thoughts with whatever that we have learned from, especially from the greats of the advertising of the country or outside, and also put out some of our experience in the last, it's been 8.5 years since I started Panorbit, so wanted to share our own insights and the experiences of the projects. Might be helpful for the new hires in the company also, as well as the people who will be looking at starting their career, maybe even starting an agency, or general brands or companies who are interested in looking into branding, marketing, and advertising in general.
I think this is a good initiative because we have film essays per se.
Yeah.
Films are being dissected and seen how it is made. And advertising being an industry which is almost like storytelling, it's most of storytelling.
30-second storytelling.
30-second storytelling. I think something like this would dissect and see what exactly is happening behind all these ads.
Why do you guys think that so much of essays or the dissecting has happened for the so-called feature films or the art form and not for the ads?
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think in general, advertising is not looked at like an art form. It is more of a service that is provided, which is why I think people don't think they should, dissect it or find out why some ad worked or some campaign worked or something like that. That's my opinion.
I think mostly the ads are being played in between the movies and we try to watch the movie and never watch the ads.
That is in TV, bro. No OTT theater that is not there.
And this episode 1, I wanted to cover about the ethics for marketing and advertising agency and the brands, especially when you're doing a social awareness campaigns. But I don't want to restrict only about social awareness campaigns as such. The ethical dilemma, there is always going to be where that line is drawn. Is there a line? And where the line is drawn.
So, is there an inspiration for this topic?
Of course, I mean, when we are brainstorming about the podcast idea, of course, you know the recent infamous or a famous campaign that you know, which was a fake death of, I don't know whom whether to call a celebrity or not, but a fake death campaign. Let's call it a fake death campaign.
Whose name rhymes with Sunam Sunday.
That basically gave rise to the idea for this, whether what is that a proper way to do a social awareness campaign or not, and let us have a sitting and discussion about that particular point itself. So now taking the cue from there, let's start with a little bit larger question that I wanted to begin from there. What do you guys think does advertising and the marketing in general have a social responsibility? Let's start from there.
I think it is. It has a responsibility, like how films are being made and how they have to be responsible to the larger society. I think advertisement also does have a part in shaping a society, is what I feel. And moreover, it is recurring, right? It is not a film. It is like where you spend a time for 2 hours and sit and watch one single message. It is like a recurring message. And I feel it is now, maybe it is a different ball game together now, but when we started, when television became a mainstream thing, or when radio was a mainstream thing, I feel when the government was socialist, the socialist used to be a socialist. The ads used to be socially responsible. It's like it has to be socially responsible, and it also the time the ads were broadcast. It is like 50s and 60s and 70s. It is a conservative society, and the ads have to be very conservative. And the social messaging went like from family planning to what type of crop you have to grow, and everything was like spoon fed by the government or by the institution. So it was in a way it was very responsible in that fact.
Yeah, I think advertising actually has more responsibility than a movie, because movie can be considered as like expression of an artist. Like it can be considered as that director's or that writer's opinion, or he's just presenting it. It's left to you whether you want to judge it however you want. He's just presenting the facts or whatever, his different perspectives, and then you can choose which perspective to take and all that. So the difference between the movie and an ad is that an advertisement almost always pursues the audience to do something. Like it asks you to go buy a product, or it asks you to bath 5 times a day, or drink 2 times a day, or something like that. There's always a call to action. There's always something that persuades the audience. So when you're doing that, you have to be careful about what you want the audience, what you're persuading the audience to do.
How do you draw the line? What do you consider in marketing and advertising, what we call it as a differentiator in terms of puffery, the creative exaggeration, and of course there is an extreme end, which is the lying part. Okay, let's say this ad, I think you might have watched this.
Yeah.
Right? Phenolics fans.
He wants mom's pickles, right?
Yeah.
See, I mean, again, this like astronauts will wish that they'll get chapati like that.
That's what.
But by the way, chapatis are available in space. Like
I don't think so.
That is what.
they're going to send 4 people to space now. Like they might need.
I think they will have to figure out.
Yeah. Like chapati pillar.
So that's what, when we are a creative exaggeration, I mean, let's watch this completely and then.
रॉकेट भेज दे क्या? एक बोतल अचार के लिए? नो सर, नो.
स्पेस बंद करो, स्पेसशिप बंद करो, अचार बंद करो. कैमरा चालू है क्या?
वीजा लगता है क्या?
देखते रहिए, दे रही है दस्तक आपके दहलीज पर.
मेरा बबलू.
रामू काका, थैंक यू.
So obviously in this, the brand is not saying that our fan is so powerful that the air goes even in the vacuum. The Ramu Kaka's hair is flying in the vacuum, in the space. So this is what I would call it as a creative exaggeration done well.
I think even when audience sees this, they know. Like obviously, it's very illogical.
Correct.
It's obviously illogical. It's pushed to an extent just to make it funny or quirky or unexpected, basically. So I think this is fine. The problem comes when the audience don't know that the claims are being exaggerated, or the claims are not as true as the ad claims it to be.
So you're saying when you're coming up with a campaign, if you are creatively exaggerating it, make sure that it is so obvious to the end customer that it is exaggerated.
Yeah. It's a suspension of disbelief, right? Really, any movie making, it's like it has to be like you know for a fact that the fan cannot send you to the space, but still you believe that because you agreed to believe that. But what we are talking is about, I think it is about the ethics.
Right.
What is the line that we can cross, rather than what is the creative choice we are going to make? Is there
While
any
making
line?
the creative choice, you might end up crossing the line without your knowledge also sometimes, right? So that is where.
Yeah, I think mostly it happens with if you're talking, I just got some few social marketing ads, like it's not social media ads, it is social marketing ads, which is like certain subjects are taboo, right? For example, in the late 90s and the early 2000s, there used to be AIDS spreading in the country like wildfire. And there are supposed to be campaigns to create awareness. People are talking about this, hushing about what is
Yeah,
AIDS
it was a
and all
taboo
that.
back then.
And there is an ad which was made by I think it is from one of the leading. I think it is Lintas. Lintas made an ad for IPS. I think it is like Lintas and what is this company called? So
You can't read your own handwriting, huh?
yeah, I write it everywhere. Yeah, after 6 o'clock. So they made some interesting ads. The ads these are the curiosity ads. What do you call curiosity ads, or what do you call them? Teaser ads, basically. These teaser ads, what they did is it opened the subject to the country. But what happened is parallelly, it is failed to notice there are some flaws in the ad. Okay, so this is called Balbir Pasha. Well, Balbir Pasha will get AIDS. This is the. this is the-
Okay.
ए मिर्ची बलबीर पाशा का एड्स होगा क्या?
ये रेगुलर के पास जाएगा तो एड्स नहीं होएगा।
बिना कॉन्डोम के भी?
ये रेगुलर के पास कंडम काय को मांगता?
अरे रेगुलर सिर्फ बलबीर पाशा होगा क्या? उसके जैसे हजारों हैं जो रेगुलर होंगे एक लड़की के साथ। अगर उनमें से एक को एड्स हुआ ना तो सोच बलबीर पाशा का क्या होगा।
बलबीर पाशा हर बार कॉन्डोम पहनता है क्या? बलबीर पाशा को एड्स होगा क्या?
सुन, ये बलबीर पाशा को एड्स होगा क्या?
तेरे जैसी हेल्दी चिकनी के पास जाएगा ना तो नहीं होगा।
देखने से थोड़ी ही मालूम पड़ता है एड्स होएला है।
एक आइडिया तो आता है ना यार।
एड्स हो गया तो काफी टाइम तक मालूम भी नहीं पड़ता। लड़की एकदम फर्स्ट क्लास दिखती है। अब बलबीर पाशा किसी ऐसी औरत के पास गया हो और बिना कॉन्डोम के बैठा हो तो डर गए न राजा।
बलबीर पाशा हर बार कॉन्डोम पहनता है क्या? बलबीर पाशा को एड्स होगा क्या?
So this is a very crucial ad, and it is a very breakthrough ad, and it is aimed at people from 18 to 40 years old. So when they launched this ad, it went so viral. They telecasted in all the mediums like newspaper, hoardings.
Define virality in 90s though.
Everybody talking. I'll tell you how. It is like I was doing my college. It is like I must be 18, 19, and already it was there everywhere. FM was very new when in the 2000s, early 2000s. FM had a revival, and TV ads were very viral, and it was the peak of cable television.
Yeah, correct.
So everywhere it was there. The campaign was everywhere there, and people are talking. And one of my classmates were named after not Balbir Pasha. It is in Tamil. It is called Pulli Raja. So we named him Pulli Raja. Till today, he is called Pulli. Yeah.
Is that how he saved in your mobile also?
The ads were there, and no. But what is the relation?
What is the relation between that character and your friend? Of course, not the.
It is the first year, and you have to name everyone some nickname.
Yeah.
That is a breakthrough ad, and that ad had very large problems because it said like when you go to a prostitute, when you go to a woman who is a prostitute, and you tend to get AIDS.
Okay.
The makers didn't realize there are other means of getting AIDS.
Probably it wasn't even the awareness was not there at that stage.
And it had a backlash, and this ad they ran for like 2001 to 2005, and it was it was at Balbir Pasha in Hindi, plus Pulli Raja in Tamil and Telugu. I think there is a version in Kannada also.
There's just like one premise. That's all. Like just
There is
like going to the whatever prostitute. Be careful
yeah.
or-
So they made 2 ads actually. The initial Balbir Pasha ad, it was made in Mumbai because there is a red light area where it was a ground zero for
The spreading. Yeah.
And they made big hoardings and Mumbai was talking. And it went viral in all the southern languages, and the strategy is very interesting because they identified that AIDS spreads through all these ports. Port cities like Visakhapatnam, Chennai.
Because of the travel.
It was not, air travel was not that much. So they identified these cities and they launched this campaign.
Okay.
And it went viral, and my friend was named Pulli Raja, the end of that campaign. And it was a very successful campaign. People get to talk about AIDS for the first time in open.
Yeah.
And then what happened is there is a backlash that no, you cannot identify only women or carriers of AIDS, and it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
I think there is one of the ads where Nawazuddin Siddiqui also featured in the early. He was not known that time. So it was a very successful ad, but the derivative, the end of that means is it is very successful ad, and people tend to talk about AIDS. There is an awareness. There is an increase in condom usage among the youngsters and also the people who are into sex workers and people from this thing, and everybody started talking. So now the line we are talking here, this company had crossed it because they want to send that message across. They crossed that line, but it worked. Then they corrected the ad going forward after the backlash.
Oh, okay.
And the campaign
a new campaign was there.
Yeah, I think it is evolving.
Okay.
You do the trial and error and you evolve.
No, but
Not essentially. I wouldn't completely agree to that argument saying that we're
they
evolving.
really crossed the line. I think they wanted to talk about one particular way of how AIDS was spreading and like focus on that. But the problem, I think their strategy itself kind of became a problem because they started, since they were putting that ad everywhere, everyone just associated AIDS with prostitutes. So I think it was more of an execution problem rather than an idea problem, is what I feel. Right?
But how do you approach this? Now there is a disease which is spreading in multiple ways.
No, I think if you look into that, the OG of social awareness campaigns and one of the most successful, and we are seeing the results of that success today, is the polio ad. Of course, with Amitabh Bachchan, Ogilvy had conceptualized this and run this.
What is it called? It is polio pulse.
Polio drop. Pulse polio. Pulse polio was a program by the government. Government had approached Ogilvy to come up with a campaign for nationwide.
धिक्कार है हम पर। पोलियो के बूथ पे इतने कम लोग। कब तक अपने घर बैठे इंतजार करते रहेंगे आप? कब तक अपनी जिम्मेदारियों से मुंह मोड़ते रहेंगे? अरे भाई, मां बाप तो बच्चों के लिए क्या क्या नहीं करते। 2 बूंदें जो आपके बच्चे को जिंदगी दे सकती हैं, उसके लिए आप 4 कदम नहीं चल सकते। 5 जनवरी और 9 फरवरी को बूथ पर जाएं और बच्चे को दवा पिलाएं। चलिए, ठान लें कि पोलियो का नाम और निशान मिटा दें। प्लीज, कम ऑन।
5 साल तक के बच्चों को 9 फरवरी के दिन पोलियो बूथ पर जरूर लाएं।
बस यही एक दिन देखना बाकी रह गया था। जब सब बहाने खत्म हो गए तो कुछ लोगों ने अपने बच्चों को पोलियो की खुराक न देने का एक नया बहाना खोद निकाला। जाति, धर्म। मैं उन लोगों से सिर्फ एक सवाल पूछना चाहूंगा, अरे भेजा है या भेजवा दूं?
सर, इनका गुस्सा बिल्कुल जायज है। अरे पोलियो की बीमारी का जाति और धर्म से क्या लेना देना?
बिल्कुल।
कोई भी बच्चा इस बीमारी का शिकार हो सकता है, इसलिए मैंने अपने बच्चों को पोलियो की खुराक पिलवा दी। आप भी जाइए और पिलवाइए।
क्या लगता है जाएंगे लोग?
बिल्कुल सर।
नहीं गए तो तुम्हारी खैर ले लूंगा मैं।
नहीं सर।
पोलियो रविवार 27 फरवरी को भारत के कुछ ही भागों में हो रहा है।
2 बूंद जिंदगी के।
So people had a very clear idea saying if they see Amitabh Bachchan, every mother, every parent should remember polio drops.
Yeah.
If we take these 2 campaigns as an example, the AIDS one or the polio one that I was talking about with Amitabh Bachchan, there is a lot of time per se back then, right? today's the one-line brief that we get most of the times is that make me an ad which is going to go viral.
So I mean, there's something that I just realized right now that before you had digital or social media and all of that, if anyone creates an ad, they have to pay in order to play it in different places and all of that.
Correct. The brand,
right? So the brand could control how many times this ad is being played, how many times it's being viewed, and basically all of that.
And you can take down also.
Yeah, take down also. But once social media came across, that thing, I mean, that is not necessary anymore. The moment you put a video out, upload on social media, people can themselves share it without, paying or anything like that. People themselves will start sharing it, and then you have other pages who will download it and upload it as their own video and all of that, and basically it becomes like a internet's own thing. You can't control it anymore. Correct. No matter how much, even you can take it down from your official channels, but it will still be out there somewhere.
Once it is on internet, it is
so
forever.
But again, there also, if you say we can play multiple ads also, no, here in social media. Supposingly there is something like AIDS only. Say if I talk an example, there are so many other means of spreading. In one video you can show it like it has come through a sex worker, and you can show the other means also in different videos.
Yeah.
That facility was not there back then. It is like you have you have to have the brand recollection every now and then.
Correct.
Now it is like you have multiple options, like within multiple channels and within multiple platforms you can do that.
So with that said, do you think that the responsibility or the criticality of the brands and the agencies coming up with these ideas is a little bit more than what was before? Because the brand or an agency could control the flow of information back then. Today we can't. If I put it something and we kind of in a week time we get to know that it is giving a unintended messaging, we can't take it back anymore. So if that is the case, we have defined some of the creative exaggeration like you were mentioning, right? I want to take you guys through one more advertising, especially the one that was done by CDC. Like it's not a creative exaggeration, but still how you can make something interesting. A social awareness campaign need not be boring always, right? So I want to take a couple of examples in terms of if someone who's trying to learn about writing an ad campaigns or working in the advertising business as such. So how do you approach writing a social awareness campaign? If that is the case, some of the good examples are this, where you will capture the attention of the audience.
Hey, kiddo. You got a minute?
Of course, Pop. What's up?
As you get older, you may notice that your body is starting to change.
What?
You may be very curious about what's going on down there.
You're talking to me?
Yeah, you're probably asking yourself, oh, what is happening to me?
That's exactly what I'm thinking right now.
Your older friends might already be doing it.
You do realize I'm 45 years old, right?
I know this is a lot to take in. So I brought you this from the doctor. Your mother and I have done it, and we're happy to tell you all about it.
You could have started with this.
I think this is the exact opposite of the recent campaign that we saw.
So where the efforts have been put in here in terms of no celebrities. I mean, we took the case of polio or other campaigns also. Generally social awareness, the brands and agencies tend to bring in a celebrity to easily reach to people and already carry the brand value of those celebrities whoever brings in, right? But what if you do not have a celebrity? In this case, most of the work is done on the creative part of it. The work is put in terms of set up a premise in such a way that it captures the attention of the audience, and then
there is always a pleasant way to put it, right? Like,
which are the other social media campaigns in terms of creatively done well that comes to your mind?
I think my most favorite is Sunny Leone's no smoking campaign.
Correct.
That I think is the best social awareness campaign ever.
11 minutes thing.
Yes, 11 minutes. So have you watched this?
Recall?
No? Okay. It's brilliant in every way.
तो के हो डॉक्टर साहब?
कहना की है, समय भूखो शेर से सबने खा जावे। इबना दवा काम आए न दुआ ताऊ। थारे घर का दीपक कभी भी बुझ सके। मारी माने ताऊ तब बालक से उसकी लास्ट विश पूछने का वक्त आ गया सब। भाई गॉड, राम राम।
बोल दे बेटा, क्या है थारी अंतिम इच्छा?
दीपू ले खा ले रंगूनी पान आखिरी बार।
चौटाले की बकरी का दूध पिएगा? जाते जाते पी ले थोड़ा सा।
मारे पियर से दहेज में आई रूसी गुड्डी।
भाई थारी फेवरेट बिलायती तूतनी ले भर दे इसमें अपनी सासा ने आखिरी सुर। तो फिर क्या चाहिए थारे कुछ हो रहा? लास्ट बिट है बापू।
देख मुन्नू, डुबन वाला सूरज और बुझन वाला दीपक, इनके आगे किसी के ना चले हैं। मान जा।
ठीक है। चाची है थारी बाप।
Only if you had reduced like one cigarette, you could have gotten what you wanted.
That is what brings eyeballs to. There are different methods and different creative ways of getting eyeballs, probably even getting virality, but you can't work towards virality. Virality is something that happens along the way. You have to write for probably having that good punchline, or max to max if virality or shareability is your thing, then you can even try to bring it down to relatable for your target group. How do you define the persona and what is their important points and all of it, rather than again going back to the stunt part of it.
Yeah, I think stunt marketing especially, I feel like they always try to be like on the edges of, what is right and what is not right. Because I always feel like, especially when celebrities do it, right? So they'll only release like, half the ad in the beginning in their social media or something like that, and you'll assume like, oh shit, something is happening, and then you realize it's just an ad. Celebrities especially, we follow them because we believe in them and like as a personality, and we look up to them, and whatever, we're inspired by them and all of that. So when they do something like this, we usually want to believe that it is something real or something personal that they are saying to us because of how much we relate to them. And then you realize, oh, it was just an ad. I feel like you're kind of cheated, as a audience. Like the same thing happened with Dulquer Salman. He suddenly at like 11 o'clock or something in the night, he posted one reel saying like,
I haven't slept in a while. I've experienced something for the first time and things haven't been the same since. It's reached a point where I just can't get it out of my mind. I want to say more, but I'm not allowed.
It actually looked a little disturbing. People thought that, oh, he's undergoing some depression or something like that. And then, he came to know, I think the ad later was like some new phone is keep making him sleepless or something like that.
This is a guided meditation to relax and fall asleep faster. Relax and take a deep breath. Don't think about how the iQOO Neo 7 Pro's smooth leather finish feels in your hands. Feel your body sinking into a relaxed state with each breath. Forget the rush of gaming with the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 processor and independent gaming chip. Forget it all.
Still can't get over iQOO Neo 7 Pro. Maybe I should try tech therapy with Prasad.
Go search iQOO Neo 7 Pro.
Which is like people who trust him will kind of start losing that trust. Trust him as a person. Like if you're doing an ad, say you're doing an ad and do an ad, and that's fine.
Do you guys think or justify that the end output is going to justify the way?
No, so I feel like what will happen is like short term you will get the results, like that celebrity will get the publicity that they're looking for, that brand will get the exposure that they're looking for, but long term people will start losing trust with the brand and the celebrity, so they'll start believing the celebrity less and less. So
and probably even the brand.
And that brand. So
that cannot be, it can be a tactic, it cannot be a strategy is what you're saying. Like,
I think there are much better ways to do it. Like,
so how important trust factor is to brands? Considering celebrities also as brands, or just the companies and the brands going forward, especially when we are looking at AI coming in, we don't know which image to believe, which video to believe, which voice to believe anymore. What we are currently living through the post-truth world, so-called post-truth world, right? Where we don't know, we are not able to differentiate between what is truth and false. So how important the trust-building factor becomes part of the advertising?
Yeah, I think it'll be really, really important, because the more we see AI and the more we see fake news and fake all these things happening, we will start losing at least a little bit of a grip on what is real and what is not real. Like until now it was kind of easy to say if something was like CGI or not and all of that, but now I think it's obviously becoming harder, and I think at least the brands shouldn't consciously push something which is not real and pose it as real, because I think that will just hurt the brand in the long term.
I think brand is a promise. So I think if you're breaking that promise in a different ways, like every now and then, I think the end user will get suspicion about that brand. I think you will lose the promise. Say if I don't know, I come up with an analogy, but I don't want to say this here. But anyway, like you cannot give it in different colors. So you suddenly make people feel that it is little over their top, and they're just they say things differently, is what I feel. Cannot break that promise out and out.
See, you can still, as a brand, you can still surprise your audience. Like we see, like
surprise is
crazy,
what?
like the credit ads. I would say credit ads are like a great example. Like nobody had seen Rahul Dravid that way, and so when they saw that Itranagar ka Gunda ad, everyone loved it.
And it was not presented saying that Rahul Dravid is going to become Gunda from tomorrow. Everyone knew, and the premise was set up saying that it is an exaggeration.
Yeah, it's not like they are going to say like, Rahul Dravid is really angry or is really a short-tempered person. They are not saying that. They are obviously exaggerating to a point, like again what we spoke that time, that the audience know it is not real, that it is exaggerated.
I think anything which is away from your brand persona, it will backfire to you.
Coming to the end part of the podcast, I think we have broken down enough examples and everything. If I ask you, what are your ground rules? Top 2 or 3 ground rules that you would say that you'll keep in mind while conceptualizing a campaign to say, okay, this is not in a good taste and this is in a good taste. What would those be?
I think 2 rules that I can think of on the go. I think one would be make sure, I mean, obviously every product or every brand wants to make profit, wants to make money. That is always there. But you should also make sure your product, gives that positive thing to their consumer also. Like whoever is using that product, whoever is using whatever aspect of your brand is, they are also getting out what they want, or they are also getting the positive impact from using that brand. It shouldn't be like you are selling something which is bad, but you're making money out of it. I feel like you shouldn't do that. Your product, I mean, if you do that, obviously I feel like it's just short term. People will realize. People are, I would say, like very intelligent that way.
Okay, as an agency?
Same, as an agency also, you should make sure that you are also at the end of the day serving an audience.
Yeah.
And even if you're serving a brand, at the end of the day, that brand's audience is your audience. So you should make sure that your audiences are well taken care of, not just the brand. That is one rule, I would say. Second rule, I think, especially if you want to do like stunt marketing or you want to surprise your audience or something like that.
Shock.
Think if you can keep replicating this campaign and it will still work. Like for example, this fake death, whatever campaign happened, I'm pretty damn sure if they do that again, it will never work. Right? That campaign is obviously not repeatable.
Yeah.
But take the credit ad, for example. They did it with Rahul Dravid, they did it with who's that? Jackie Shroff, they did it with
Ravi Shastri.
Ravi Shastri, exactly. They did it with
Anil Kapoor.
So many they kept
yeah.
repeating that same formula with other people and it still works.
Now even with Ranveer Singh.
So if you are thinking of surprising your audience or doing something or as a shock thing, think to yourself, if I can keep doing it, it will still work. If the answer is yes, I would say go for it. Otherwise, I would say reevaluate.
What I feel, is like today I was watching a reel where there is a catwalk. There are models who are walking on a ramp in Milan, the fashion week or something. People are throwing garbage at them, and this is the entire concept of the entire
campaign.
No, it is not a campaign. It is a fashion show.
Okay.
And
concept of the
messaging
fashion show.
Yeah, it is against high fashion and things like that. What I'm saying is, world will go crazy. It'll keep on going crazy and things like that. So you try to keep a sanity for yourself as a writer, as a producer of any show, any advertisement. Try to keep that sanity. That world may go crazy. It will keep on going crazy. AI will come. It will create new things.
Don't just blindly follow the trends.
Yeah,
go back to the core values that you stand for.
Yeah, there is a reason for the company being branded that way. And there is a value attached to it. There is a DNA to it. Don't try to deviate and try to play the game of what the market is trying to do it today, like the stunt which you have seen today. I mean, recently.
So, adding to whatever you were saying on the creative part of it, right? Adding to it, especially when it comes, I believe, especially when it comes to the healthcare products, I would want both the brands, healthcare brands, as well as agencies and the independent writers or filmmakers or whoever it is, marketers, to be extra careful when it comes to marketing the healthcare products. Recently, I saw saying that they can reverse diabetes outrightly, putting it out there. Diabetes is not a curable, it's an acute disease at this moment. We do not have a cure. So technically, you cannot reverse diabetes, you can control it. I felt it was a wrong communication piece. That is one thumb rule that I keep, saying that anecdotes are not scientific proofs. And the other thing is, most of the times the onus is on the brand, but knowingly giving out a misinformation is something not okay. What happened here is not a misinformation that was given, but a misleading communication piece that happened with the campaign that we were talking about, right? With the diabetes thing, it is direct misinformation that is being spread across, and it's outright lying is what you can put it up. I think these are some of the ground rules that needs to be put across, according to me. That's what I think. I think with that, let's cut.